This video will go over the process I went through with regards to doing the Power Query editor, as well as doing a merge between different, descriptions on the responses to the federal employee viewpoint surveys. This is an example of the data that we're going to be linking up. It's the first 5 questions along with the age group and super, but obviously it's cryptic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the responses for the questions, and A, B, and for the other 2 groupings. So we're going to pull this in, and the intent is, or the purpose of this is that we're going to have this folder, which is dedicated agency state, is what I called it. And this is a dedicated folder where you will be dropping in new files on a monthly or routine basis. And to demonstrate that, look, you don't have to do this. You don't have to go through this whole process of copy paste and do all this other stuff. Once the process has been established, all you've got to do is go through and hit your refresh and pick up the new sheet, or maybe you deleted one out as well. Go back and just delete. Only use the files or data that is in there. So anyway, begin. Yeah. And again, when you do this, you can't have your files open that you're reading in. Now, in this case, I have to create these little dictionaries. And if you run into a problem conducting this and doing the merge queries, usually it's probably going to be with data consistency, in the sense that I'm reading a whole number here and a whole number there versus reading a whole number here and trying to link it to something that's text. So just be careful of that if that comes up. It's not an easy fix sometimes. You just have to trace it down and figure out which one's what. Anyway, to create these tables, I'm going to create a table for the age one, super, and response. First one I'll go through slow. But to do this, I put my cursor in the table, click the data ribbon, go over to the left-hand side up here. There should be an icon that says from table or range. Since this is a table, or a range, what's going to happen is Excel is going to create a table for this. And I think because it's so small, it'll open up and say that, my table has headers won't be checked, but obviously we need to have that checked. Verify the range, verify the table headers is checked, click OK. And then this will bring you to the Power Query editor, and pretty much you can look at it and say, okay, text, everything's all good. Before I go, I need to change the name to age. And then I'm going to close and load this to a connection. So I'm just going to create these connections here, and then we'll be linking them up to the complete data set. Repeat the process for the next one. Go to data ribbon, table range, check your box, click OK, and change the name here to this was super, and close and load to. Now, if you just click close and load, it'll just load it into the spreadsheet, which already is. All we need to do create this connection. So regardless, I think you'll get the connection available to you. Next one. This case, the box is checked. I click OK, and I'm going to call this response. Then click and load to. We create the connection, and there we go. So we're all good. I'm going to save the file. Now the next step is to come up here and link this, or read in those files that we had in that folder. So I'm going to point it to this agency state. Now I've put it in this navigation path. For you, it's obviously going to be different, but anyway, there you go. Go to data, and to get to this, you go to the big icon to the left, click that, where it says from file, come down and we select the one that says from folder. And this is where we navigate over to our agency state. Now, I've already navigated here prior to, so all I have to do is highlight that and then click on the folder name that you want to link to. Now, when you get this will show you the details of the 2 files that are in there, or all the files that are in there. You could have multiple. And if you just hit the transform data, it's going to work on those 2 records that we're seeing on our screen. It's not what you typically want. You could do the load 2, but what we want to do is we want to do combine and we transform this data. Combine and transform. And once this comes up, see a couple more screens. It comes through and says okay. Again, I can preview or select any particular file I want to, but I mean, everything's good. Comma typically is your delimiter, and that's what we have. But if you have anything else, you can select appropriate. Okay. Okay. Now look over here and take a look at these things and see everything all good to go. Over here, make sure it's whole numbers on these. Make sure they're all good. Now we start beginning our merge query. And I can go over to the other ones. If I wanted to go over to those other queries over here on the left, I could select the response, make sure their response is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is all good, a whole number as well. Okay. And you can see all the other options that you have here as well. So let's go ahead and I'm going to just do a couple of these and then we'll create a pivot table off. So for the Q1, we're going to, when we do the merge, it's going to be in the home tab. And the idea is I'm going to merge the number to the number that's in the response. So I'm going to click on merge. That's the agency state. And here we are in response. I'll link up top to the bottom. And all looks good there. And when you do that, you'll get an additional column over here with this little icon. Well, we need to expand out the table, and to do that, I just say all I need is the description field. So if I click that, I get the disagree. If you could take a look over here, I mean, Q2 actually does correspond to disagree. 1 is strongly disagree, but that'd be like not the 3rd one down. Or 5. I guess that's how I had it mapped. Just one big extreme. Strongly agree, yes, it's 5. That it would strongly disagree would be down here. On row 11, row 11 should be 1. Okay, so that's all good. Let's do, and what you should do is change the name. Just type in Q1 response. And then we'll do the age. We'll just do 1 for the age. Okay. And if you're interested, you could do obviously more, but just for this tutorial, I'll link up the age group there and the age down there. Everything is all good. I click, look and see. Then I click OK, and we're good. Again, we have to come in here and do our expansion or selection. So I check the age and just keep the description, and I'm okay with it. The default name of age.description. That's pretty much what it is. Now, once I have everything, and this is where you could potentially run into problems with the errors, we could keep or remove rows, or not rows, but columns if I wanted to. So I could come up here and maybe since I've already, I don't need the Q1 column, or I don't need the age group column because that's already been linked up. I can click OK, and just on my final result, I will get just, I won't see that Q1 feed through or the age group field feed through. Now the next step is to come up here and hit the close and load to, and I'm just going to push it to a pivot table. Maybe, there we go. And this is where you may run into issue, on type collisions. Looks like this is going to work. And if you do run into issues, then just go back, and it's typically a conversion error somewhere along the line. But now I've got this nice pivot table. I can hit my age description and start doing pivots. Maybe I want to put in, let me put this down here, and I'll put the age description up top and say, okay, what do I want to see is how many people responded, agree, disagree, and so forth for Q1. Now, whatever Q1 is, I mean, yeah, you understand. Then you could create a chart, table, whatever. Clean this up. Obviously, you'd probably want to remove the blanks. And then to do that, you could just select these filters here and check your blanks. On your rows, you could do the same thing, remove the blank there. Talked about maybe you might want to eliminate the grand totals. So click in the table, click under your design. Over here to the left, this is where you can change remove the grand totals for top and bottom. And also remember that you can move these things around as you see fit, the order, sort them highest to lowest, or you can manually. So I'm just going to move this, left click on this 40 and over and move it before, after, just to get a better, if you read from left to right, it should go from lower to higher, right? And again, we can move these categories up. Strongly agree, and then neutral. And all you have to do is just put your mouse on the edge of that little cell and click and drag it as appropriate. And from this, then you could just very quickly put on top of it a pivot chart, and voila, there you go. See how these fall out as far as for this first question. And the over 40s dominate, obviously, because there's there's a lot more. But you could, in addition to this, some other things we talked about could be, yeah, this is raw numbers, but maybe we want to express this in terms of percentages. Okay. So if I come in here go back into the pivot table, just right click here anywhere, come down and show your values as percent of your column totals. And just to get a better feel for the distribution. And for the most part, the under 40s seem to be more in agreement on this question. I think the question was, you can open up that. Just for morbid curiosity. Q1 was, I've given a real opportunity to improve my skills in my organization. Well, I mean, the under 40s, they probably view it as, they want to learn. I mean, they're younger, they're earlier in the career, so they're looking around for the opportunities where us older folks, it's like, I've been here and that. Anyway, all right, there you go. That in a nutshell is how to read from a folder. Oh, one more thing, because I didn't show you this. Now the next thing is, what if I get this new updated file, that's PQ, the 2023? I'm going to copy that and drop it into the agency folder again. And now for that to feed through, all I have to do is just go back and do a right click, refresh, and notice it changes a bit. You know, pretty much stays the same, but it does read that in. But if you want to see the change that back to actual numbers, show values as no calculation. Now you'll see that there's, you've got more people there. So we'll automatically read it in, or conversely, if I go in and I'll take out the 20, I'll delete the 2023 or not 2021. Let's go. Maybe we just need the 2-year. And if I go back to my tape, the pivot table, do a right click refresh, you'll see the numbers drop. So it automatically feeds through. I don't have to do anything. All there for you. All right, that's all I've got, and I will shut down the recording. This posted for you.